Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
Gene, why don't you start at the beginning?
Something's happened to me. Something I can't control.
Dark Phoenix, June 7th.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolf Vega, and today with me is Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And we are doing a 3D review for Dark Phoenix, the latest and possibly last X-Men movie with Fox. As always, we'll talk about the 3D element first. So, I got to watch it. I'll talk about that first, then we'll let Jake talk about it, because he has a story. Dark Phoenix, I thought, looked very nice in 3D. I was kind of pleasantly surprised by this. There's a lot of really good scenes here. You know, there's a car accident scene in the beginning of the movie that really, it's a lot of times where, like, the scenes or the visuals will have explosions and they'll, like, pause or slow down time. You can see the explosion particles in the air. And there's a lot of cool stuff here that I thought was a lot of fun. And it really felt like it wasn't too gimmicky. And there's, one emotional scene with Jean in the rain that looked great because of the depth. So I really liked it. Even though there's a lot of action scenes in the dark, I thought it didn't have a problem. My theater had no problems with this. Obviously, your mileage will vary. But I really, really enjoyed the 3D aspect of this movie. And I thought it was great. Jake, what are your thoughts? What's your story first?
Okay, well, when I went to see this at my local Regal, because they were the only ones running 3D previews, they just ran a 2D print, basically causing a near riot, a lot of headaches to us in the poor theater that wanted to see it in 2D, and we're getting a 3D print without glasses. So basically, after a near riot, they restarted the movies, so we're about almost 30 minutes late, but oh my god, the 3D blew me away. I was so shocked at how good it was. Between the car wreck, the train at the end, it's easier to list the 3D that didn't, on the space, it's easier to list the 3D that didn't work. The only reason I don't give it editor's choice is because when the shuttle was launching up off the pad, when they were going into space, that was so flat. It just took me out of it because it was just so terrible compared to everything else. I mean, the 3D in this is so good.
So you agree with me, the 3D is great in this?
Oh, yeah, It's like, it's almost editor's choice good.
So yeah, we definitely recommend watching this movie in 3D if you get a chance to. I found it kind of hard to find screenings for it in 3D, so good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. But it is worth the fight. Trust me. The 3D in this is amazing. There's one scene on the train with Storm that my screening people actually stood up and cheered and went, wow. And then, of course, there was one bit during the shuttle mission, which I'm trying not to spoil anything, but half the audience ducked.
So, great 3D. Definitely recommend this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if it was filmed in 3D? I don't think it was. I don't know.
No, this was a conversion. But this thing, you can tell it was shot for 3D. Simon Kinberg, I don't know, between him, the cinematographer and the director of photography, they shot these angles just right to pop. The rain during the funeral scene. If you've seen the trailers, you know who, but we're not going to say anything because in the non-spoiler review, the rain looked amazing, and I was like going, why didn't they do this for Godzilla? Have the rain pop like this.
So overall, great 3D from both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Now on to the movie itself. So, Dark Phoenix is a story of Jean Grey. And in my opinion, it succeeds more than it fails. It's largely a self-contained story. And I was kind of surprised by that because, it's really, it takes place after Apocalypse, like, I don't know how many years, 10-ish, in the early 90s. But we start off with a car accident scene with a very young Jean Grey, and we get the backstory, how she became X-Man or X-Men or whatever. And eventually we do get a story with a space anomaly, and that the president calls the X-Men to go save them. And during that, something happens where Jean gets her abilities enhanced, and she's not able to control her powers, and hurts her family and her friends. And we get a new character here, a Volk, which I did not hear that name on screen. I had to look it up on IMDb. And she's trying to help out Jean during this time. But this is a much more somber movie, not your typical summer blockbuster. And one element of this movie I need to talk about is Professor Xavier. And he's now a morally ambiguous character and very complicated. I actually appreciate this, but I could see a lot of people getting pissed off. It's very much a Me Too thing with consent. And what he did was, I think, he did the wrong thing for the right reasons, Yeah. It's an emotional roller coaster. And one of the problems I had with it is the bad pacing. I thought the action was great. I was surprised that I really like this movie. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like this movie too. I feel like I'm in an alternate universe. I was curious because the trash talk in this movie was so intense. I said, I've got to make sure somebody didn't switch my movies out. That actually saw the real movie. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I was looking at reviews, but then I'm seeing most of it. Most of the reviews that I've seen are negative for this are people who this movie didn't hit their head canon. They're pissed off at Jessica Chastain and Jennifer Lawrence. They're mad about the X-Women line. They're mad about a woke movie, whatever. But this is a good movie. I mean, is it great? No. This is light years better than Apocalypse, and it is most certainly better than the original version of this movie, Last Stand. Simon Kinberg, and if I didn't know, I would have never guessed this was a first-time director. This is Simon Kinberg's debut as a director.
Just real quick, I mentioned that I'm not a big fan of Volk in this, and I thought the ending was a little bit weird, but overall, I liked it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Jake, what are your final score?
I know, another 7 from me. I know I'm getting to be predictable with my 7 scores, but this is a solid 7.
All right, that's it for us. Bye.
Bye.
All right, before this podcast ends, I want to give a thank you to my patrons. Right now, we have one patron, which is David from Spain, and I want to thank you for your financial support. All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast.
We now have a Patreon, and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a little bit everywhere. Just look for us, 3D or 2D. And of course, review us on iTunes. And if you want to write us a letter, our email address is email3dortwo2d@gmail.com. So that's going to be it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.